No, I didn't.
I'd like to welcome everybody for our meeting. If you would stand for the pledge, we'll get it started.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You do the roll call, Sue.
Supervisor Lant?
Here.
Deputy Supervisor McCaffrey?
Here.
Councilman Bogardus?
Here.
Councilwoman Pelican? Excused. And Councilman O'Connor?
Here. Thank you. Anybody signed up to speak?
Yeah, right here.
Thank you. Roger Flynn?
Roger Flynn.
Hello, everyone. I'm Roger Flynn. I'm the president of the board of directors at the Wilton Food Pantry, and I'm here to invite everybody to come out to our 9th annual Empty Bowls event to support the Wilton Food Pantry. It occurs on March 29th. It will be from 12:30 till 3:30 at the Saratoga Wilton Elks Lodge on Route 9. The cost to get in is $20 if you buy the tickets in advance online at our website, wiltonfoodpantry.org. When you go there, you get a bowl. You go ahead and pick out a handcrafted bowl from the ceramic art students at Skidmore College. They donate them to us. They're beautiful bowls. The bowls are worth more than $20 right off the bat, so you make your money right just walking in the door. What we do is we fill the bowls with either soup or chili of your choice. You get bread and water. It's a simple meal just to reflect, some of the people in our town may not necessarily have a meal every day. And that's why we're here. We also have a band that's going to be playing. John Cribbs and the Trophy Husbands will be playing. We'll have a silent auction. We've gotten donations from a lot of the businesses in the area, a lot of gift certificates for dinners and things along those lines. Donations of power equipment from the Saratoga long-haul place up right up the street here. And a whole bunch of other local merchants and stuff will be donating things for us to raffle up and make some free pals. And it's a lot of fun. It's a great event. And if you could come out and help us out, that'd be great. And have a lot of fun. Again, it's March 29th at the Saratoga Wilton Elks Lodge, 12:30 to 3:30. So please come out and help us out and have some fun.
Thank you. Thank you. Good cause.
Great event. All right.
We'll put that on the webpage too for you. Rich Lemensky.
Well, first up, top billing. I actually got a couple of questions and basically a comment. I just want to compliment the folks that come around do all the brush cleanup and all the snow plowing and all that, the highway department in the town here. We've been here, my wife and I, in the Lake Elizabeth area for it's over 17 years right now, and it's a tough job. Everybody wants their driveway cleared out first and their street cleared out first, and why aren't they here yet after a storm? So you have to take that into consideration, and overall I think they do a very accommodating job. So that's the main thing. And also I'd like some information here maybe on, we hear that there is a brush cleanup special event coming up.
We are working on it, and it will be done, weather permitting.
Okay, yeah, we just
will be
looking
done.
for some information, like when this might take place and how to prepare for it. I'd like to help them out too, like they want separate piles of different brush or things like
It's got
that.
to be brought towards the curb. They aren't going to go in your backyard. We get everything close to the road. We're just mainly waiting for the weather to change. I believe you are picking up some now? They are going around now doing what they can. A lot of it's still frozen in the ground, but we will be picking it up, and it'll be on and we'll have more on our website about it.
Okay, good. I pass this on to our neighbors too. They're all concerned because, well, they're interested. And
Right, of course.
I found that I could
Thank you.
See, and then now you bragging them, the highway, they all want to raise tomorrow.
And they're also going to say, who's this guy? Put his address down. Get it.
Nancy Gatlin.
And Nancy Gallen.
Nancy Gatlin, 28 Indira Drive. I just wanted to say a few things about Gavin Park, which is an absolute gem of Wilton. And that wonderful spray park that was put in, my grandchildren have absolutely loved it. My daughter-in-law, who has been to many with 3 children, says it's probably the nicest one she's ever been to. So now that we have this wonderful spray park, I was thinking and wondering if maybe we could possibly put in a pool, which would be so nice for the older kids, for the campers, for the adults. I think it would be a great addition to Gavin Park. Thank you.
I've been trying to get that for years, but I don't get no support. Thank you. All right, we have a couple Eagle Scouts here. Oh, I'm sorry. Has everybody read the minutes?
Yes, sir.
Somebody want to make a motion?
I make a motion we approve the minutes from the February meeting of 2012.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Noes? Approved. All right, we have a couple Eagle Scouts here. They did some projects for merit badges, you call them?
Eagle Scout.
Eagle Scouts. Trevor Borden and Jacob Szymanski. Trevor built a ATV barn over at Scout Camp. There's pictures of it. And Jacob made a box, I guess you got it there, to put the retired flags in. They both did a great job, and before I turn this over to Ryan, it tells a lot about your character and what type of people you are going to be in life, believe me. And your parents deserve a lot of credit too, that they raised 2 fine young boys.
Talented.
And if you,
Talented.
You're right, and I might have a project home for you. But if you would hang around a while, I'd like to get your picture taken. We'll put it on our case. We'll get something in the paper. Ryan can get call one of the local papers. We'll put that in there and let the residents know what you did and be proud of it. I'm going to turn it over to Ryan now.
Yeah, so I've been working with Trevor Borden for some time now. This project goes back to Larry Gordon days. Larry Gordon started this project. The Wilton Wildlife Preserve and Park, they own an ATV and they tow behind the grooming equipment for the trails over at Camp Saratoga. And the ATV was sitting outside all year round, so they needed to have something enclosed, and Trevor needed a project, so Larry set him up with a ATV garage, and this project just kind of grew. I don't know if Trevor wants to stand up and say a few words about it, but you can see, I think everybody has pictures of this garage that he built.
We can get him 3 more ATVs.
Yeah, so this project was a large project for an Eagle Scout, and he did a wonderful job. It's been a lengthy project. There's been a lot of volunteers with this project, and I think Trevor's done a great job, so I don't know if you want to say a few words about your project.
Yeah, so I'm Trevor. The pictures over here show the building. It's about a 20 by 16-inch building. And I pretty much just want to say thank you to everyone who helped me. Mr. Riper and Mr. Harrington especially, they were extremely important, and without them, it certainly would just never have happened. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who helped. If you'd like to check out the building, it's at the Wilton Wildlife Reserve near the fire ring. And it was an outstanding project. I had a great time with it. It was definitely challenging, but I think in the end it was worth it. So I just want to say thank you.
You want to say something?
Jacob, you want to
Say
talk about
something?
your project?
I wasn't prepared.
Okay, so for my project, I built 3 flag retirement boxes, one big one for the Elks Lodge and 2 smaller ones to be donated. One of them is being donated to Camp Walk Hominy, and this one is being donated here.
Thank you. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Great job. We have Jim, are you done, Ryan?
Yes.
We have Jim Richmond from Brookside Museum would like to speak.
Thanks, John. Thank you for inviting me. My name is Jim Richmond. I'm representing today Brookside Museum, which is a Saratoga County History Roundtable. It is in Ballston Spa, but it's a county-wide museum. It was founded in 1966, 67 timeframe, so it's over 50 years old, and the County Historical Society has been housed in Brookside Museum at the end of Front Street in Ballston since 1970. So it's 71, so it's coming up next year on our 50th anniversary of that project. That is a museum for the entire county. It has over 30,000 items in its collection. It does education programs for the entire county. We have a part-time education director, Ann Clothier, who goes into the school systems. We have programs that are at the museum itself. And we reach about 3,000 to 4,000 children and students in the county, and we're trying to expand that program as well. We have also a research library, which we man in association with Heritage Hunters, the genealogy organization for the county. And we have adult programs, and my connection to this really is I was one of the ones that formed the Saratoga County History Roundtable just 2 years ago. And we do work closely with Brookside Museum. We are also a county-wide organization. And we're trying to develop that into an adult education program. We have monthly programs that are not just lectures, but also workshops. We have some winter workshops going on and doing a lot of things to try to reach new people for history. Because as we see a lot of times in the historical associations, we need to get the younger people involved. And I'm not even talking about this age. We need them as well, but 30s, 40s, 50-year-olds, somebody other than retirement age like myself. So the reason I'm here is because in October last year, Brookside Museum came to a situation where they were running out of money. They have struggled for several years in that regard. Their income has been depleted over those years, and frankly, it reached a point where they were in danger of closing. And in fact, when I was first called in on it in October, there was a little hope for the museum to be able to remain open after the first of the year. Well, a few of us in a much larger group got together in October and November, and maybe you've seen it in the papers, that we launched a Save Brookside campaign in November to raise $100,000 in order to be able to maintain the museum and keep it open for 2020. I'm happy to say we reached 90,000 of that goal. 90% of our $100,000 goal has been achieved, with about half of that coming from two local towns, Wilton and Ballston, and the rest of it coming primarily from individual donations and some businesses. So we're really pleased that we've made that jump so that we are now able to remain open in 2020. We could use some help in closing the gap. We've got like $10,000 left to get to that point. We really would like to be able to celebrate achieving our goals. So that's one of the reasons I'm here, just to mention that to you. As individuals or as municipalities, anybody who can help us reach that particular goal, I think would be very helpful. That's the easy part, actually. I wouldn't say that back in October, that raising $100,000 would have been the easy part. The hard part is to make sure that we're sustainable long-term. And so we're really restructuring the museum in a number of different ways. There is a new board of directors. I say that half of the members of the board of directors are new as of the first of the year. We have 6 new members. We're restructuring how we put together the committee system so that we can involve more people that are not on the board of directors in order to be able to engage volunteers to get the work done. Because with a staff of one full-time and one part-time education director and a couple of just office folks who are very part-time, we can't do anything, all the things we'd like to do in the county without the volunteer support. So that's one of the big things that we're working on. We're looking to expand our education programs. I already mentioned the fact that we're looking to get into the school systems. We have limited involvement right now, I believe, in Dorothy Nolan or Ballard Road. So we're looking to be able to reach into those school systems in order to be able to bring some of our programs into the Wilton area as well. We're looking for, one of the things I talked last night to the Heritage Society, one of the things we're going to try to do for Brookside Museum is to be a funnel for information between the other organizations in the state and county and all the historical associations that are here. All the historical societies and the individual towns, and I've talked to most of them, Greenfield, Galway, Charlton, and Wilton last night, they're all somewhat struggling. Okay, they need new volunteers, new people that are interested in history. And I think one of the reasons that is in our county is that our county has fundamentally changed. I grew up in the county, almost 70 now. And when I was here, when I first was growing up, it was a very small county in terms of population. And I looked up Wilton. Wilton is has five times more people than it had in 1970. I'm sure you all know that. It went from 3,000 to 16,000. So most of the people in the town are not natives, if you will, in a lot of cases. And that's something I'm not telling you don't know. Same with the other towns, like my own town, Clifton Park, obviously, was the first one that started, all because of the Northway. So one of the things we have to think about is how can we be able to develop an understanding of our history and our culture in this town to the people that don't have a generation after generation connection to it. Brookside Museum is engaged in working on that with the individual historical societies, and that's one of our goals for 2020 and 2021, to be able to help to engage the people that don't know the history of Wilton or Milton or Clifton Park. So that's one of our big opportunities. What we're also looking at, we're looking ahead to see how we can remain viable in the future in 2021, 2022, and so on. So we're working a little bit, trying to work a little bit ahead of the game in terms of planning our budget and our finances for 2021. 2020 is a done deal, okay, so that goes, as you're going to find out soon when you get into your budget cycles. So one of the things we recognize, in order to be able to do the programs that we want, we need to take the museum from a budget level of about $175,000 to about $250,000 in order to be able to sustain the programs that we want to do and reach into the various communities with this countywide effort. Because I will mention that one of the things that we found out as we went through this process is that how little we were known outside of Ballston Spot. I think over the years it's become more and more insular in Ballston Spot. We need to be able to make that a countywide. We need to make that a countywide operation. We need to reach into all the different towns. We're doing some things along that regard. For instance, next year, I'm sure you folks know this, but will be the 230th anniversary of Saratoga County, the founding of Saratoga County, separated from Albany County. So one of the things we're going to do is we want to work with the towns to do a towns exhibit, we're calling it, in the museum, okay, that will be able to highlight all the different towns in the county. And related to that, the other side of that is right around the corner. I'm going to work with Karen James to put up a display with some artifacts from Wilton and some information from Brookside Museum. So there'll be a display in there that shows our history. So the history of the town and also the history of the county as well. So these are all the kind of things we're doing. I appreciate the time that you've given us. What we're trying to do with this preliminary budget for 2021 is, like I mentioned, about very rough, of course, at this stage, but about $250,000 budget of which we're looking at the various elements of our income, such as the fundraisers that we do, the education programs we do with the school, the grants we get, okay, the other income that comes in from various sources, and one of the legs of that stool is municipal giving. Okay, giving from either the county, the municipal, the towns, or the villages of the town. So, or the villages of the county. So what we're looking for is we're asking the various town boards to think about this as you work on your 2021 budget. Okay, and look at being able to help us. We've kind of set a tentative goal of being able to raise 20% of our 2021 budget to municipalities. That would be $50,000. Okay, which is more than twice what we received this year, outside of the special gifts we received from Wilton and Wilton for the campaign, or for our regular operations. As part of that, we don't deserve that funding unless we give back to the individual towns. So that's what we're planning to do. We're trying to work to strengthen the relationships with the Saratoga County Historical Society and all the towns. So any way that you can help us in that regard, as it comes up to your budget cycle, we really appreciate it. And if you have any further questions or anything, I can address them, or we can get back to John for the follow-up.
Did you get any money through the county?
Okay, yes, thank you for mentioning that. We have not got any money through the county as of yet. In December, there was a motion passed by the county to support countywide collections up to $25,000. It did not mention Brookside specifically, but the fact is that I think that was the intention of most of the supervisors. We're working with Lauren Roberts now, who's the Saratoga County historian, to put together a proposal on behalf of Brookside to be able to tap into those funds. Previous to that, just to go back a little ways, about 2012, my understanding, when I was involved, is that the county, support from the county on an annual basis for the budget was lapsed. Okay, I think it had to do at the time of the county nursing home situation and other things. Maybe something you're more familiar with that than I am. However, the county, during that time, since 2012 until now, they did support Brookside by providing some funds for building maintenance, including repainting and so on. And that was done through the county. But we have not been receiving a normal annual stipend from the county.
Have you talked to your supervisor about it, Benny?
Who?
Your supervisor?
We're talking to the supervisors.
Well, get him on board and I'll support it too. You got two heavy votes there, weighted votes.
There's 4 of us that are going around and talking to all the different towns in the county.
But it's in his area, so if he bring it up, it would pass.
Yeah,
if he gets you something.
Yeah, appreciate it, because I believe that the tapping into that 25,000 that goes to the Lawn Finance Committee, I believe, and then will go on to the full supervisors meetings.
And maybe they could set it up for, a yearly thing in the budget.
Yes, and that's one of the things we're looking at. We've received support in the past few years, I think, from only 3 of the 21 towns. And those 3 have generally given the same amount every year, but we're trying to obviously to broaden that and see if the towns are willing to be able to support Brookside Museum. My understanding is that you support the Wilton Heritage Society. That is, am I right with that? That's what I understand.
Yes.
So that, we know there is a line in your budget for history, and we would just ask that you consider us.
We will talk about it.
So if all the towns got on board, it'd be about $2,200 a year, it sounds like.
Yeah, it depends. Now, the way, again, we need to look at, I guess,
To raise that
like
$50,000 goal is about 20.
Again, if you were to prorate that based on population, assessments, there's big towns and small towns.
Right.
So to be fair, I think it's going to be a variable amount.
That's why he's here.
But hopefully, each town has got to make their own decision.
But the problem here is we all have to answer to one person.
That's not you.
She's in charge, not me. I think I am.
And I'll go, and I'll,
Or they let me think I am, these two.
okay.
Thank you.
Very much, I appreciate it.
Learn to bat your eyes. Pucker that lip. Bat your eyes, but might be get a grand.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And there is a lot of articles from Wilton there too, right? You have articles from Wilton there too, right?
Yes.
Right, we gotta go on to Camp Saratoga, Delagon Pond, set the rules. It's owned by the town, will be stocked by the town, weather permitting. Mark Makins takes care of that, you said, so. The stocking program is for the town of Wilton handicapped residents in use under 16. It's from April 1st to October 15th and will be reserved for fishing by Wilton residents age 16 and under and handicapped people.
Any age, right?
Yes, correct.
Any age for handicap?
Yes.
Yes, I'm sorry. And may be assisted by an immediate adult family member. Fishing is limited to two per day. There'll be no live bait permitted, just worms and lures permitted. Somebody want to make a motion to adopt this?
Make a motion to approve the Delagon Pond fishing program for this year.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mrs. Moran, do you want, no, I'm sorry. No, the committee reports.
I got a couple of brief things. The highway superintendent and I met recently to talk about what you see on the agenda as animal remains, which I thought sounded a lot better than roadkill. But every year, you know, on some of the town roads, we've got a pretty big deer population. How many deer do you figure on average, Kirkland, the crew's got a...
Numbers, it's getting more and more because of the residential, so we get our share, I can tell you that.
Yeah. So Kirkland recommended an ecologically and environmentally sound way to dispose, principally of, you know, deer remains that the highway crew picks up along the town roads. And it's a business up in Argyle called Tamarack Compost. And what they do is they take the remains of these animals and compost them. The organization has a permit from DEC, so it's all done according to DEC regulations. Kirkland got a service agreement from them and also a copy of their permit, which I shared with our council yesterday to review.
Which I've done.
And your decision?
It's not up to me to make a decision.
I know.
The agreement has a couple of things that I would probably recommend changing that I think if we have somebody to talk to on behalf of the contractor, we can likely resolve pretty easily.
Okay. So, Kirkland, anything else you want to add?
Pardon me?
Anything else you want to add?
No, we just want to be able to hear road.
But it has to be done. It has to be done.
Yeah. So, I'd say, contingent upon changes by our council to the agreement, I'd like to approve this on behalf of the highway superintendent. And I'll make a motion to that effect.
You
Second?
can do an informed acceptable to town council if you want.
Can we make a motion and you correct it?
What I was suggesting, and I think this is consistent with what Councilman O'Connor is saying, is if you want to approve the agreement subject to it being in form approved by town council, that's fine with me.
Exactly.
Make that motion.
That's my motion.
I'll second it.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passed.
And the other item I had was late January, I got a call from the folks at the LA Group who had been working with Ryan and also with, principally with Larry Gordon on updates to the town's open space plan. So I had a meeting with a couple of folks over there, had a long discussion, and they gave me a copy of their current draft of the document, which I spent a couple of weeks reading over, marking up. I met with Ryan earlier this week as well to talk about that. And there's no decision to be made at this point, but I just wanted to inform the board, and folks in town, that the LA Group is probably should be wrapping up
the latest changes to the open space plan, and then it will be presented to the town board, to our Director of Planning and Engineering for any other amendments or changes that folks might want to see. And also, obviously, Margot Olson over at the Wilton Wildlife Preserve and Park to play a oversized role in this effort. And that's all I got, unless anyone has any questions.
All set? Thank you. You want to bring that up?
Sure. So we do have flyers on the back table. The Wishing Well and Wilton Wildlife Preserve and Park are hosting a Dine Out for a Cause, and it's a fundraising effort for the Larry Gordon Camp Saratoga Visitor Center. So 50% of your dinner bill will go towards this program. And that it will be held on Thursday, March 19th, 5 p.m. until closing.
We'll get that on our website too? Facebook? Yes?
Yes.
Gavin Park.
Mr. McCacken?
I just want to talk a little bit about Gavin Park. Mark's recently asked that we change the pavilion rentals, and he's looking to rent the large pavilion for, as it is written now, we rent it for $200 a day, and the small pavilion is $100 a day. He's proposing to divide the use of both pavilions into 2 4-hour blocks, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., 3 p.m. to 7 p.m., and it'll allow opportunity for lunch and dinner times and 4 hours to enjoy their activity. And I believe we need a motion for that.
Is that a motion? You just make a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Anybody ready to second it? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed.
And the other, we met with Saratoga Wilton Youth Baseball tonight, and Gavin Park is going to be receiving some upgrades on the fields this year. Apparently, there's been an issue with a couple of the fields not compliant with baseball, so they're gonna bring them 2 fields up to compliance, resod it, level out the infield, make the pitcher's mounds. Apparently they have to be a certain height and distance, and there's a lot of things to it, and so they're gonna upgrade that this year. We're working on new parking solutions in there as well, and we did just replace the salt spreader on one of the trucks. It was cheaper to change the tank than it was to replace the body on it, so that's it for Gavin Park.
Anything else?
That was it, right?
Councilman Bogartis, anything?
Town court is going along on the interior renovations. They pretty much finished we had to comply with jail cells for prisoners when they're brought into court, so those are pretty much done.
They're letting them all go.
And so they're actually going to be starting kind of like a phase 2, working in the offices. They're going to be reconstructing a lot of the offices in the secretarial side. Again, they're moving along, and we're well under budget, which is always a great thing. And we did the outside, obviously, last year. We got a couple of correctives. We got to put some gutters up because we had some ice build up. Again, you don't realize this until winter comes. So we're going to make some adjustments on the outside. We are putting new signage. The old signage that was on the old building was kind of weathered and really didn't blend well with the new facade that we have up. So I believe Scott has ordered the new signage, and we're just waiting for delivery on that.
Good.
That's it, sir.
Mrs. Moran, you want to do your report?
Yes. So the 2019 budget transfers that we have here are to clean up our final
analysis for salaries for 2019. Simply moving money from departments that had leftover or surplus money in their budget for salaries to departments that did not. And in addition to that, so that's items 1 through 3, and item 4 is delay just for timing. We just received an invoice for Park Fest for 2019 that we are processing, so we do need money on that line. So those are the 2019 budget transfers.
Somebody want to make a motion to the 2019 1 through 4?
And I'll make a motion to approve those budget transfers.
Second?
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the second budget transfer is for 2020. It is for the attorney's fees for the month of January.
1 month?
It's January, yeah, that's the latest bill we have. There's some activity there.
Somebody want to make a motion to the 2020 budget transfers?
Court guy getting.
Cricket. I'll make a motion that we pay
Second.
20 budget transfers.
Second.
Enthusiastically, a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The third item relates to the review of the PennFlex Service Award Program, which is an annual activity that we do for the year ended December 31st, 2019. We review all the points awarded to the participants in the volunteer program to ensure that everything is calculated correctly, which impacts their pension amount that they get. The board is requested to approve the audit, which revealed no exceptions. We had a sample of 3 volunteers, and we went through all of the activity to determine that, they earned that award. After we pass it, if the board passes it, the emergency squad will post that list for 30 days, after which time the award list will be sent to PennFlex, which is the pension administrator. So the board is requested to approve.
You need a
audit.
motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the Wilton Emergency Squad PennFlex Service Award audit.
I'll second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Pass.
And the last item relates to personnel. David Locke has submitted his resignation, which is effective March 13th, and the board is requested to accept his resignation.
Somebody want to make a motion?
Make a motion to accept Mr. Locke's resignation.
Second.
I'll second.
You second? Dwayne?
I did.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Is that all you have, Maria?
Yes, that is it.
Does anybody have anything to say in the audience, or?
Mr. Supervisor, if I could just one thing. I just want to thank Maria, Ryan, Kirkland, other folks at Town Hall, Sue, for everything they've done to help me get up to speed as the new kid on the block. It's been a dozen or so years
They
since I
still
last...
say they need a lot more,
Kid on the block.
they say they need a lot more time though, right?
Me and that,
Well, yeah, I was always in the remedial class, but
me and that museum have the same birthday.
they've been very generous with their time.
Yes, they are. We're very fortunate to have them all.
Yeah.
That it? And Kirk, I'd like to thank you and your crew for a great job you did during that storm and all the plowing. It's been a tough winter. You guys have done a heck of a job. Thank you.
I got a truckload of trees.
Thinking about Tennessee, yeah.
Somebody want to make a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second?
Motion.
Okay. Thank you all.
We got the Boy Scouts.
Yeah, I gotta get your picture taken.
One day of skiing.
One day?
Today was my one day.
Yes.
Sad, huh? That is sad. I know. At least I picked a good day.